So we're gonna work on getting the rest of the ceiling up, so that way I'm gonna do the back wall. I don't know I'm up here. Sorry, back wall, this wall, that wall. That's what I'm working on. Well, we're going to go ahead and get right into this. So here we go. Just going through and putting some screws up, getting it all in there, getting that ceiling up. Fighting with it just a little bit. In the end, I didn't need to, but I did. So I got it working. It's up there. So we'll go ahead and cruise on through this, get that ceiling up, and then we'll start working into the backside. So go ahead and enjoy and keep watching. We're going to go ahead and put in another nailer here. As we go, you'll see that I do several more nailers. I learned kind of from the bottom, so I'm wanting to make sure that it's a little bit easier, especially since I'm by myself. If I had to do it all over again, I would have went to the bottom and did some more nailers in there and just made it work a little bit better. I also would have brought that cross brace forward. So what I just talked about there was just basically math. I couldn't figure out math very well. So we got to figure it all out, and we're just putting in the insulation obviously there, and getting it all ready. I'm trying to use up as much scrap and little pieces as I can, just so that way it just saves on cost. Now the real fun begins. This was a pain with two people. It's really going to be a pain with one. It actually didn't end up being as bad as I thought it was going to be. It all worked out pretty well, and kind of went in. You'll see on here that I just had to like make a couple extra trims up in the left corner there, just to kind of make it work. It's not square, not 100% square, but I got it close enough, and that's all that I really cared about for this, was getting it close enough, and that's where we're at. So it's a lot of excess of screws, but because I used oversized insulation, which in the end I probably could have saved a little bit of money and just went with smaller insulation, or even gone with closed cell foam, and would have made it, one, cheaper, and two, a little more efficient. After more research on this, I did find out that closed cell foam is kind of what you want to go with some sort of cooling like this, but that's alright. It's going to work. It is working now, so we'll just keep on moving forward. Alright, now the fun part begins, because these big ones are not easy to do. So try to do it myself. If we can't, I may have to go get me a board and a piece of plywood, push up on one side and push against the wall, and then use my arms, but we'll see what happens. I might be able to do this by myself. So we got lots of nailer room and stuff like that. So it shouldn't be as difficult as like these lower ones and this one was. I'm hoping. We'll see. You never know. So I don't know why I'm down there. Figure that out. Surprisingly, that it actually went a lot easier than I thought it would. Having that bottom piece already on there actually helped out quite a bit, which you would think that would make the difference for the floor, but the bottom piece, at least the bottom piece, was harder, and I think it's just because you can't really get your whole body into pushing things up, and it's just more difficult to get things to work the way you want it to work. But this is working pretty good, so I'm happy with it. And once again, I'm using a lot more than I should, but that's just because of the insulation that I chose. If I did it all over again, it'd be closed foam. I would have just got foam boards and just went that way and cut them all and put them in the best I could. Would have got a bunch of 2-inch and a bunch of 1-inch, or a bunch of 3-inch and a bunch of 1-inch, and put it in there that way and just worked on it. But hindsight's 20/20, so here we are, and it's working out for us. Out freaking Danny. I tell you what. Here's our progress. I got the ceiling in. It's just the old stuff that was in there, so I didn't feel like wasting money on more drywall. And like I said, I'm gonna foam in here, foam in here. I'll foam down these cracks and cut them off. Silicone those cracks when I get to it. This isn't going to be a finished room. This is a temporary setup until we get our garage and everything built, hopefully next year, and do our addition. So then I'll foam up there. And all I got left is this right here. And then cut in all my electrical and I'll be good to go. So like I said, I'll just fill in with foam. And then all the pieces that I cut off from out here are out here already. So I'll end up pulling this out, cutting all this plastic out. I'll foam right into here, and then I'll just put that. It's not going to look the same because it sticks out further than it should, than I planned. But, actually, I planned it this way. But anyways, I'll put the old wood back on top just so that way it looks appealing wise. I may have to cut this off just to use something else there. It won't be the same, but it'll at least be something, and it'll keep the water. And then we'll take some spray paint this black, and call it good. We'll keep filming what I'm doing. I just wanted to do a walk around real quick. These two pieces went so much smoother than I did the other day for all these other ones. But I think a lot of that was just learning, and I didn't learn very well. Today I learned a lot better. I took what my knowledge was, and I kind of went from there. So I'm going to end up throwing a little chunk of nailer up here, not to screw me, because I need that little bit as much as I thought I didn't. I'm probably going to need it, although I do have nailers here too. So what I'll end up doing is marking my nailers there to there, there to there, and then I'll write stud right here, stud right here, and that's obviously there, and then stud right there, and that'll get me, obviously this will get me there, but just in case. So yeah, I'm gonna put another little nailer here, just because from learning from this other stuff, it just makes it simpler. So, and I think I may have enough scraps that I don't have to cut anymore, that I can just use scraps in here. So, all right, we're gonna go back on the tripod here in a minute. I should have a GoPro here today, I hope, and then I can actually set up 2 cameras and be able to go that route. So, thank you for following along, and I just want to say this adventure is going to keep going. We'll get this all wired in, kind of see what it looks like, get it turned on. Hopefully I don't start blowing fuses in the garage, but I'll have almost 2 days worth of running it to figure that out. So hopefully it'll be good. Once it's up to temp, it shouldn't be too hard of a draw. So I feel that the only time I'm going to blow a fuse possibly is when it's trying to get up to temp. The bonus is right now we're not in 90-degree weather, so in here is not as hot as it could be. So that's where we're at right now. I'm going to go ahead and get that nailer put in, and then I'm going to get the insulation put in, and we'll keep on keeping on. Okay, so I'm just trying to figure out how I can use scraps instead of cutting up a whole brand new board. My one scrap that I cut for back there, well, would have worked had it not been a scrap piece that I cut, because we cut off some inches, because this was 88. This needed to be 88 and a half. I needed that ½ inch, otherwise it was too much of a gap. So kind of got screwed out of that. So it kind of screwed me here. So now I just need to make a few things. So I think I'm going to put a nailer in here. I'm going to finish putting a nailer there. And then I'll probably put a couple nailers in here, so that way I can piecemeal a few things in and just go from there. I mean, that's all I can really do right now. And I think that's probably going to be the best bet, honestly. I may not even do nailers. I may just do backers to screw through. That's probably what I'll end up doing. Doing some janky shit. That's what it is. So I'll probably end up doing a nailer here, which is going to be do a nail here. It'll be 10. Here, it's going to be 21 1/4. That has to be 4 inches wide at least. So. Yep. Okay. So I'm doing. Well, we're just going through, we're putting some nailers in here, making sure, extending them out, getting them where they need to be. Did some pre-drilling on some of them so that way they wouldn't split when I use screws. I put a nailer in the middle. My biggest thing is I'm just using scraps on here. I have one full sheet left and I really didn't want to use it for this. I want to be able to just take it back. It saved me, I think, like $18 or whatever it ended up being. So I was able to take one full sheet of that back and one full roll of non-backed insulation back. So I mean that was an extra $60 that I was able to get back. So it's just trying to be cost effective at the same time. So yeah, we're just going through stuffing it in. I just trying to work smarter on this instead of harder. So putting some up and then putting the insulation in behind it. I'll have to redo a little bit, but I know it's not the proper way to do it. But again, this is just, it's a function over form 100%. So I just needed to function right, and that's all that I cared about. And this was function. If I wanted form and function, then I would have done this a whole different direction, and it probably would have, not probably, I would have jacked up the building altogether, and then re-leveled it, and then squared it all off and redid everything, redid the door and all that stuff. But obviously that hasn't happened. It's not happening. So this is where we're at. Here's what we call making it work. It doesn't need to be functional. Like, it just needs to be functional. It doesn't need to be. So Some giant, big ordeal. Just like this, like this, like this. See the comments if anybody ever watches this. I can see him now, but bonus is nobody's watching these right now, so. So this is one of those work harder, not smarter scenarios. I'm a firm believer in working smarter, not harder, but this didn't work. And sometimes when it comes down to construction stuff, it doesn't work that way, which is fine. I just had to pull that out a little bit to sneak that insulation all the way back as far as I could. And then instead of putting nailers in, I'm just using some scrap. Actually, it's the scrap flooring that I have. I just cut it down real quick, grab some pieces that work, and then just screwing into that just gives enough brace and enough stability in there to be able to do that. And it works. So there's no reason why I can't do it that way, and why anybody can't do it that way. It just makes more sense to use what you got when you're not trying to make it perfect. I kind of screwed the pooch on this, but we'll see what happens with it real quick. Put the notch in it, but then I didn't, and then I need to again. Okay, perfect. So I can just. Right. So this is fine down here, right? Yeah, so this is fine. So now I just need to notch it right there, which just means. Way to measure this. Notched like that distance right there. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not confident in this, but we'll see what happens real quick. There. Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy! Lord have mercy. It worked. Perfect. Somehow it worked. It worked. That's all it matters. I got it all up. Everything's done. Whatever. Wallboard's up and everything, so that's done. I've got a bunch of spray foam up in some of these cracks. I'll probably go through and do some more, but I let this all kind of do its thing for the moment. Painted this just to give it some sort of a weatherish type seal. Not really worried about it as much, but it's there. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and set up my plugs and everything. So I'm thinking, I'll put them like right in this neighborhood. So we'll have a box here for the thermostat, box here for plug, box here for light switch box here for plug in for the lights when I get them. So going through and going ahead and leveling up with the line so that way everything's level when it goes in, and marking everything, which you'll see here in a few minutes is I had one of those bonehead moments and things were marked out and I didn't pay attention. I just went with, oh, this is where I want this, instead of going with, oh, hey, this is where you put this. I'm not able to find my electrical wires, I hope. They're all over there. Shit. Hey, look, you know that line right there? Where it was, too. God damn it, Makaiwi. You're an idiot. Alright, we're just going to do a double gang box here. I'll go buy a double gang box here. No, I can't do a double gang because of that. And I'm an idiot and whatever. Okay. Oh, shit. Had to screw that up. It was marked right the frick there too. God damn it. What an idiot. Wire fits. One more in here. If I can get it out of here. Oh, look. There's the wires that I need. Fucking idiot. So take two. Really, it only took me 2 tries on this, which is pretty good because that from the floor, I didn't videotape it, but that first step took me 5 tries. Only because I kept on superimposing the measurements and messing it up. So it is what it is, but I got this figured out and we got it all situated. So after fishing and trying to get these through, there's that little hole in here that I got them through. Yeah, I went ahead and did that. Then I gotta go and put, there we go, there, and then I still gotta go through and insulate all this, I guess, on the outside. So. Part of me just says, take these off. Don't worry about it. Just so we can do the insulation better. Figure it out. Just like that. There's back. There's our foam seal there. Go. Now I'll have to put some more foam seal around here and there, but this will work. Yep, perfect. Okay. Anyway, so I moved it over because I just didn't like, that was uncomfortable to me. It'll reach, I know once I pull it, it would reach better. This is just more comfortable. And it leaves me with just some oops. Alright, I'm going to put the thermostat in, and then I'm going to run to the store and grab new plugs, because obviously this doesn't work, so I'll just use ones that are going to work. I don't know why there's two of those, but we'll find out here soon. Nope. Nope. Alright, so this is what we got going on so far. This is where I was going to put it. This is where it is. So that's the thermostat. It's a cooling thermostat. So we're going to plug here for the AC. A light switch here. I'm going to cure that one later. And then a plug here. This plug's going to be operated off of this light switch. And then I'm going to put LED lights up in here. It'll be like just like the ones that I have in my garage. So I got some foam up in there. It's doing its thing. Been stuffing foam in here. I have more foam that I can stuff in there when I'm done. So on this side, I went through and spray foamed all this, and it's getting there. It's filling in, so that'll be nice. So lots of that there, all that. Perfect. So that's where we're at so far. I'm gonna run and grab 2 plugs and a light switch because the light switch's not working and I want. Sorry. All right, so here's the final-ish. So I gotta button up the electrical and figure out the rest of the sealing. There's a little bit of seal that I can't get to seal, so we're gonna. I'm gonna get some rubber garage door seal and do it. So it's in. AC will work. Like I said, I just gotta button up a couple things. Floor's all cleaned up. I was screwing around with something that didn't work, so that's off right now, but that works. So there it is. Next it'll have wine. Okay, so wine room is done. All right, so wine room's done. Here we are. It is what it is. So I put garage door sealer on here. It makes it a lot more pain to close because it likes to fold in like that. But whatever, I'll figure it out. So folding temp, these are in. And good to go. Right now it's just on fan, so. Into the deep, dark depths of hell. Dark as frick down here. I made it somehow. All right. Let's see if I can get this to work for me. Not against me. So this is our so-called basement. We were storing the wine down there for a few days while I finished that up. Actually, it's a couple weeks, or about a week or so. So we're getting it all out of here now. Why not? Oh, got stuff in there.
Well, if you can move that 1 4-pack.
Yeah. Okay. Should we burn through these real quick and figure out what we want in there, or just do it out there?
Sure, go for it.
Probably just have to do it out there.
I'm like, I don't know how you're gonna get there unless you're gonna high jump it over.
And then just run them back and.
We can condense it down. I don't know how many empties we have. I think there's like maybe 4 or 6, maybe. I don't know how many empty spots there are.
But it probably makes more sense. Well, here we are. We're right at the end. Bring the wine out and getting it all situated. Right now, we're just obviously bringing it in. My wife is going through and pulling them out. She is now putting them by winery, by varietal, and by year in order. And that's kind of what she's going through. I did all the heavy lifting, or as much of the lifting as possible, just to help her save her back. And this is more efficient anyways than having two of us carry boxes into a room. At least one person can start getting it all done. We have quite a few bottles, not as much as I'd like. There is a lot of wine in there that's, I don't know, 2005 to 2008, so I don't really want to lose it. Here I am messing with the GoPro, trying to figure it out. I don't know, at first I just overthought it, I guess, but finally got it working and figured out. I set it down there because didn't need to use it. The basement was all shot on the GoPro, so that was kind of cool. But I've used it quite a bit more now, so I'm kind of getting used to it. It's not as user-friendly as I'd like it to be, but it definitely is very good. And everybody complaining about the batteries and blowing through batteries, that's definitely a thing. They blow through batteries quick, but that's alright. Gives me a chance to take a break while it's hot outside, come in, grab a new battery, download what I have so far, and free up that memory stick, because that's all I got is one right now. I'll be buying another one soon. That way I can keep it for projects. At least have two of them, one for one project, one for the next, or whatever I need to do. Well, what you see is just stacking up boxes. Try not to get rid of them right now. They'll be good in the future when we got to move things around and have to refigure things out. Putting in a shelf to hold water, sodas, anything else we want to hold. So I just want to say thank you for tuning in. Please like and subscribe or dislike. Leave a comment. Tell me what you didn't like or what you did like. And we'll see you on the next one.